Hi everybody, Heather Coleman here, and today we are going to be talking about the pendulum part 2. And in our first video, if you did not see it, I encourage you to go to my channel, check it out. We talked about the 3-step process with pendulums, which is choose, align, and practice. And this video is designed for people who have already chosen a pendulum or pendulums. They can come in many forms, so you can use the techniques in today's video with a necklace. I like to use this one at times as a pendulum. With a combination product, this is a necklace, dispenser for essential oils, and a pendulum. Or with a traditional pendulum, which is what I'm going to be using to demonstrate what we're doing today. So if you are new to the pendulum or maybe you need to connect and align and program a new pendulum you've acquired, I hope that you will find the techniques in today's video very helpful. So what I suggest, especially if you're brand new, is to create something that will create a square in front of you. And one way to do that is with a piece of either grid or lined paper. Now what I've done is I've drawn 2 lines here, one front and back, one side to side. What we want to do is put that in front of us, so we have sort of this box in front of us. And what I recommend is place this on a table or on the floor in front of you when you're seated. I'm going to hold this up so you can see this for purposes of today. So we've got that box in front of us. What we want to do is begin practicing with our pendulum to denote where our individual directions are in regard to that box in front of us, so that we can determine how the pendulum tool is giving us communication. So with the box or the grid paper, in fact, let me do that better, so hopefully you can see the lines here. We're going to hold that in front, and I'm going to say, pendulum, please show me my yes. Now notice we've got a front and back, and again, I've held this so you can see it, but if this was underneath, we'd have a clear front and back along that line. Actually, I think you can see that. So pendulum, please show me my yes. And there goes that pendulum front and back. Pendulum, please show me my no. And we've got a change of direction. You're going to want to watch that pendulum, and now we've got a clear side to side. And I'm going to show you that again. You're going to want to practice just like I'm doing now. Pendulum, please create a circle to clear the energy. That's another technique. Mine is usually a clockwise circle. And if I'm confused, let's say, by a teeny little tiny circle, pendulum, can you please make that circle or that direction clear and bigger? Cool, thanks, pendulum. Pendulum, please show everybody my yes. There it goes, clear front and back. Even bigger, please, pendulum, so everyone can see. Awesome, awesome sauce. Pendulum, please show everybody my no. And again, this takes practice. Nice and big pendulum, woohoo, so everyone can see. Again, this takes practice, but this is the point you want to get to. Now, once you've got that clear yes, no, and clearing of the energy, which are the 3 things I recommend, yes, no, and clearing, you can begin asking your pendulum questions. Now, there are 3 steps to this too. There are going to be clear questions that you already know, questions that you don't know but can very quickly find the answer to, and questions that you don't know the answer to. And that's the order you're going to want to use. Step 1, ask the pendulum clear questions for which you know the answer, just to test that you're in alignment. I'll show you that in a moment. Step 2, ask questions of which you do not know the answer but can quickly find out. Step 3, questions that you do not know the answer to. Once you're consistently clear each and every time with steps 1 and 2, that's when you can use your pendulum all the time for step 3, which is asking questions you don't know the answer to. So let's go over how can you use your pendulum, test your pendulum, your connection with it. How can you do that with questions you know the answer to? My recommendation is to start with yes or no questions, of which, again, there is no mistaking the answer. And we've got our grid. So we're going to have the pendulum circle. We know it's ready. Now, here's a very obvious question. Pendulum, is my name Heather? Clear, clear yes. Pendulum, is my name Bob? No. And then sometimes you can repeat that. Pendulum, am I wearing a purple shirt today? Yes. Pendulum, am I wearing anything yellow on my shirt? Is there any yellow? No. And notice how clear you want to be, because I have more than one color. I also have this orangey peach, so I didn't say that. And I said shirt when I use the word yellow, because notice there's yellow here. So this is where the practice with questions you know the answer to is really good. And that practice is going to help you phrase your questions, because phrasing of the questions is really important. And that's why this process of practice is also so important. Now, step 2 would be to ask questions that we don't know the answer to. And here's a good example. Let's say I have not looked out the window at all today, and I want to know, is it sunny or is it cloudy? That's one example of how we can get better at practicing. Pendulum, is the sun out today? Yes. Now I'm going to look out the window. Indeed, the sun is out. Another way, because again, having the window might be a little hard not to know the answer, is to use an app of some kind. I'm going to use my weather app now. I am not going to look, but I am going to ask about the temperature. Again, this is to test our connection to the pendulum. And notice the phrasing of the questions. And notice we have our grid. I'm going to ask pendulum, is it less than 70 degrees outside right now? Pendulum says, no, it is not less than 70 degrees outside. So what I'm going to do is look that up on my weather app, which I did not have in front of me, could not see. And indeed, it says that currently it is 71 degrees outside. Sorry if that's hard to see. 71 degrees outside. So notice the process of steps 1 and 2. I just dropped, well, I'm going to use a different pendulum for the rest of it. The clear questions, if your questions are too general, sometimes it will be very difficult. And so that's why I'm going to show you an example of a question that is not very well phrased. Pendulum, is it warm out? Do you know why this is just going to circle around? Well, what is warm? What does warm mean? Now let's try again. Is it warm out according to my son? Yeah, he would say it's even a little hot out. Pendulum, is it warm out according to me, what I consider warm? No. So the best answers are going to come from clearly stated questions. Here's another example of a question that is too general or too murky. Pendulum, would it be good for me to go to the store today? No. I didn't say what store. And unless I clearly envision in my mind or say out loud, and I already did, that's why it started swinging to yes. Didn't even say it yet, but what I started doing was picturing the store I'm thinking of going to that has low prices and has exactly what I need. Is it in my best interest, highest good to go today? Yes, it is. There we go. There we go. But again, if we go back to, well, should I go to the store today? Well, what store? So this is where that practice is so important. But again, I encourage you, if let's say you're practicing with the obvious questions, you're consistently getting good results, but you're asking some of those unknown questions, look at the phrasing of your questions and what you're asking. Here's another example of a question that may not be the best to ask a pendulum, and I hear this a lot. Pendulum, is he going to call me? Maybe that's not the best question to be asking at all. That's just a good example, but I see this a lot. People come to me, what's up with him? Can you tell me what he's thinking? And it's already swinging to no, because a lot of times the pendulum, if we have it programmed for our best and highest good, is not going to answer the wrong questions. If we have it programmed correctly, now it's swinging back to yes, I'm going to ask that different question. Pendulum, is it best for me to be thinking of maybe trying to go out with this guy? Yes. I'm going to put my mind on another guy. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put my mind on an ex. Should I be thinking of going out with that guy? No. So notice the change in the questions. The question should be focused on you. It's not, is he going to call me? It's, hey, should I put some focus on this and see where this might go? Cool. And if it tells you yes, great. If it tells you no, hey, the pendulum has spoken, people. So I hope you have gotten something useful out of today's video. Please reach out to me anytime for help with any of this. I do teach private and group lessons. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out the reading videos, check out the learn videos, and I hope to see you in the next video. Namaste.